So, you know the way my mind goes. Or at least those of you who follow me know how my mind goes. Sometimes it's something minute that gets me thinking on a whole tangent. So, as I'm driving through the south side of Albany, New York, I'm looking around and I'm seeing, the typical things that you find in any hood across America. And, I remember I commented, or I replied to a comment, because the reason why I reply to a lot of these comments is not, I know that the people are never gonna address the real issue, but the reason why I do that is to, one, show people who are outside of the black community that not everybody thinks on this stupid level that most of these people think on, or reply on, or whatever the case may be. But I do it because I want to provide an example of the difference, the few differences that there are among, the so-called black community. And one lady commented, or a female commented on my older video. I'm not even going to say it by name because you probably know which video I'm talking about. And she was talking about making all these excuses on why this lady said some disrespectful shit to me. And one of the excuses was that in the black community, black women have to take on the masculine role because of the lack of fathers. To my response, I replied, well, blame black women, because most of them, like I said before, the 80-20 rule, 80% of black women are going after 20% of the most useless, pointless, just sperm giving out dudes in the black community. They're not going after the dudes who are in college. They're not supporting the dudes that are in college. They'll put money on a dude's books in prison before they put money on someone's books who's in a university. And that's factual. That's facts. I tell you what, I was in college. I went to junior university, SUNY Cobleskill. Ain't nobody sent me a fucking dime outside of my mom's. Not any chick I was talking to, not any relative, nobody called and said, yo, I was doing all the calling. And back then I didn't realize how useless most niggas are. But I'm up here still trying to stay in contact with people I grew up with and, ran in the streets with. And then I just began to realize that, why the fuck am I breaking my neck to try to be in contact with a bunch of niggas who don't give a fuck about what I'm going through? They don't care that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, my stomach is growling and I can't get no type of food until at least 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sitting up here, stomach growling, no money. The only thing I got is my meal plan, and I can't use that shit until 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. Like, nobody gave a fuck about what I went through. But all the relatives and the family and the cousins that was locked the fuck up in prison, motherfuckers was sending them money, going to visit them, all types of shit. Wouldn't even fucking think about me. And I'm in fucking college. So she's telling me, or making up all these excuses, black women have to, assume the masculine role. If black women have to assume the masculine role, why ain't they building up the community? Because the masculine role is to do just that. It's to build. That's the one thing they keep complaining about black men. Oh, black men don't build nothing. Well, how can you, first of all, if you never build up a black man, how the fuck can a black man build anything? Oh, hold on. Let me repeat that again. If you don't build up a black man, how the fuck can a black man build anything up? If you don't show a black boy what a black man is, then how the fuck can he grow up to be that which you want him to be? If you keep showing him dudes sagging their pants, dudes running out around in the street selling drugs and shit, dudes with different baby mamas calling your house starting beef and shit. If you keep showing popping up with different children, giving him different siblings that look different from him, how the fuck can he learn what an actual man is? He's gonna think that's what a man is. But y'all ain't trying to hear what I'm trying to say. Y'all don't want the real uncut raw truth about this shit. Y'all just want to, especially y'all females, y'all just want to sit up here and keep blaming black men for shit that you keep putting these black boys in who grow up and try to make it out the best way they can. You know what pisses me the fuck off the most? When black bitches want to talk about how they've been carrying black men and all this other dumbass shit they like to say. Let me tell you this. How is it that all these, the 1%, the half of the 1% of the black men who make it in anything, whether it's professional sports or entertainer, why is it that they end up carrying these lazy black bitches in their family? Cousins, sisters, mama, auntie, all these bitches, they've been doing all this carrying, but the moment the black boy, I guess in their mind, hit the lotto, they the first ones out there with their hands out, but they did nothing to put this boy in any. Look at LeBron James' mama. LeBron James is a billionaire, and his mama ain't do not a fucking thing to put him in position to become a billionaire. LeBron James built himself with the help at the beginning of non-black people. And what LeBron James did was he took that and he put his homies on. And his homies didn't fuck him. They actually built something up and then built with him. And that's the way it should be. But at the beginning, it should have been people who look like him helping him out. Not people who don't look like him. But again, we don't want to talk about that. We just want to keep talking about what black men ain't doing, but we ain't talking about what the fuck black females are doing. Putting black men in fucked up positions, in deadly positions, in deadly neighborhoods, deadly conditions, in conditions where they can't learn. They have to learn how to survive before they learn how to spell. What kind of stupid shit is that? But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to talk about why am I talking about black women like this? But you ain't talking about what the fuck black women are doing to black boys. Putting them in these fucked up conditions. Talk about my son is my king. No, the fuck he ain't. He's your damn son. He's a little boy. He needs to learn how to be a little boy and then grow up to be a man. What kind of fucking nonsense would that be if I'm sitting up there and my wife is talking about my boys, my 3 sons are my kings? What? I'd feel like shit. I'd feel like, what the fuck am I here for? Saying some stupid shit like that. This is the fucking problem, though. The ingredients of poverty is fucking black female led. It is led by black females. They put black boys in poverty and make them work hard to get out of poverty. And then by the time they get out of poverty, they can't even enjoy it because the next thing you know, they lazy ass mama who couldn't pick a fucking husband want to act like they Kevin Durant mama up there kissing him all in the motherfucking mouth and shit like that's her husband. That bitch, that's your son. What you doing kissing your son all up in the mouth like that? It's one thing if you give him a little peck on the lips. You lip locking with your son. This is that predatory shit that we don't ever talk about that black women be doing to these little boys. And that's why they be all fucking brainwashed and shit. Because they get stimulated at a young age by these nasty ass old black ass hoes who can't get dick no more, so they start fucking with the young boys because they know the young boys ain't got nothing but dick to give. But we ain't talking about that though. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about the shit that black women do. We want to keep talking shit about the lack thereof of the shit that black men ain't doing. But we ain't talking about what the black woman is doing, what the black female is doing. But we got issues, motherfuckers got issues with me. Want to talk about what you bashing black women. They go through all this shit. No, they put themselves through all that shit. Because let me tell you something, motherfuckers. Let me tell you something. I have an affinity for black women. I have a love for black women. And majority of the black women that I have a love for or had a love for prior to me meeting my wife did nothing but fuck over that love that I have for them. They took advantage of that love that I had for them. Why? Because all they cared about was getting shit for themselves. That's why they don't give a fuck about their children. That's why Tommy Sotomayor says what he says about them being the worst stewards of children, because they don't give a fuck about their children. They give a fuck about how they feel. And how they feel trumps all reality. They feel that the man whom they laid down with, who had children with other females, should take care of their child more so than all his other children. Even though she knew the situation. But how she feels trumps the reality of the situation. If the nigga wasn't taking care of his previous 4 children with 5 other women, why the fuck would he take care of your child with you? What the fuck makes you think your pussy's just going to convert him? But we don't want to talk about what black females are doing. We want to talk about what the black men ain't doing. And this is the ingredients of poverty. The black female is the main ingredient because she only cares about how she feels in the realm of reality. She doesn't care what the reality is. She doesn't care that she works at Popeyes. The fact of the matter is, she feels like she wants to be a mother, so she's going to be a mother and inflict pain, poverty on that child. And if the father chooses to not be with her, she's going to choose to inflict financial harm and destruction upon him for not wanting to be with her. Why? Because she only gives a fuck about how she feels about the situation, not about the reality of the situation, not about the fact that she doesn't make enough money to support a child without any type of assistance outside of her job paying her a paycheck. See, men are held to a standard, even though they should not be held to a standard, because if you want to talk about the realm of equality, then both parties should be held equally responsible, not one party, not the party that gives the ability for the woman to bring forth life. That should be the last person to be held responsible. The person who should be held responsible is the person who could bring forth the life. Because if she is not mentally prepared, if she's not physically prepared, if she's financially not prepared to bring forth a child, she should not be bringing forth a child, regardless of who's giving her the seeds of life. Period, the end. It comes with self-responsibility, self-accountability. If you know damn well you are in no position to bring forth life, you should be on all forms of type of birth control. Now, if you want to claim this religious shit and talk about you don't believe that and all that, then don't be out here fucking. Period, the end. Don't be out here having sex unprotectedly if you don't believe in any type of contraceptive. It's common sense. Don't fuck. But if you believe in fucking, then you need to be on birth control. If you feel like you could be out here doing what men do, then you need to be on birth control. A man should not be held responsible for a woman's incompetence of knowing that she is not capable of being a mother. Now, morally, the man should just not be with her if he can clearly see she's not mentally competent to be a mother. That's moral responsibility. But literal responsibility is he is not responsible for her erroneous decisions. He is not. Morally, he is. Literally, he is not. Every person makes their own decision. If she is not ready to be a mother, that's not his problem. If she needs assistance being a mother, that's not his problem. Because he had no business She had no business bringing forth his seed, knowing that she had no ability to take care of that seed. It sounds rough and it sounds unfair, but at the end of the day, who's more at fault? The robber or the security guard? If the security guard lets the robber into the building, whose fault is that? Morally, he's wrong for being the robber. But literally, whose fault is that for letting the robber in the building when they're supposed to be the one guarding the building? They're supposed to be the one guarding their temple. They're the one that's all these spiritual beings and shit, right? But they can't keep these demonic dudes from out of their damn temple. Come on, man. They are the ingredients of poverty. And nobody wants to talk about it, and nobody wants to admit it. So I'm talking about it, and I'm saying it. That these black females, majority of them, are the main reasons why every inner city is in poverty and in chaos and in shambles. Because even though they claim to have to take on the masculine role, the only type of masculine role they take is to just act like a fucking asshole and be stern in that assholism that they do. They don't actually take on the attributes of masculinity. They just take on the asshole attributes of masculinity. They're not building. All this money they get from the government, they haven't built one fucking thing. They haven't built one community center. They haven't built one fucking educational center. All this shit they talk about being the most educated group in fucking America, but the children are the dumbest motherfuckers in America. That don't make any sense. That don't equate. See, I'm a bowler. I average 226. So if my sons don't average higher than me or good as me, that means I'm a poor fucking teacher. That means I can't teach them how to bowl. It's just like how Michael Jordan sons can't equate to him. That means he's a horrible teacher. Because if he was a great teacher, his sons should have been able to excel not only to his level, but then beyond. But the reality is, they physically could not equate to their father. They didn't have the talent. So clearly, he couldn't teach them how to be as good as him, how to be as dominant as him. Because he was not a good enough teacher to be able to reach them in order to get them to that level. Or any of their coaches weren't good enough to get them to be able to play at a high enough level to be successful professionals. And we can say that about a man, but we refuse to say about all these educated women that the fact that their children are the dumbest motherfuckers on the face of America, we won't say these so-called educated women are horrible teachers of their children.